From St. Louis Park High School, ParkTV 16 Sports presents the 2013 Minnesota State High School Girls Soccer Tournament with a Class A quarterfinal game between the Duluth Denfeld Hunters and the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights. Hi everybody, I'm Howard Luloff, welcoming you to this Class A Girls State quarterfinal game. Joining me for this state quarterfinal game as the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights are on their way to their second consecutive state Class A championship is Andrew Birkeland. Welcome back to ParkTV 16 Sports, Andrew.
Hi, Howard. It's nice to be here. The Red Knights making their 8th state appearance in 9 years and are the defending state champions after a 3-2 win last year over Blake in overtime. Red Knights come in with a 15-3-1 record, while Duluth Denfeld, the Hunters, come up with a 13-3-3 record. Red Knights were awarded the 2 seed for Class A, while Duluth Denfeld comes in today's game unseeded.
Another unseeded team was in the win column before this game, the Mankato West Scarlets, as they beat the La Crescent Lancers 5-2, with the winner taking on Mankato West Monday morning at 10 o'clock at the Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah, Mankato West came to the game unranked. La Crescent, though, was the Section 1A team, I believe, and Mankato West just came out as Vanderhyde gets a shot off. It goes wide. Vanderhyde scored the opening goal for the Red Knights in their 5-1 Section 6 win over the Orono Spartans.
Minute 26 gone by in the first half. We're glad you can join us from St. Louis Park High School. Time to take a look at how both teams advanced to the state tournament. Duluth Denfeld beat city rival Duluth Marshall 5-1. The Princeton Tigers 1-0, and for the third time they played the Hermantown Hawks and beat them in overtime 1-0.
Yeah, Denfeld had early in the season tied Hermantown both times, and just to get that win at the end, it was a big lift through. For the Red Knights, they went through section play with a 13-0 win over Mound West Tonka, a 5-0 win over Holy Family, and a 5-1 win over the Orono Spartans. The ball is played in, and it's taken back by the Hunters. Red Knights have pressed up pretty far. Their defense taking place at the 45-yard line, so they are going to be looking to be on the attack tonight.
As the Red Knights are in possession with Allie Coughlin for Benilde-St. Margaret's, who is coached by Scott Helling Christie. The Hunters are coached by Ron Weber.
Helen Christie has been in charge of the team since 2007, making state every year except for 2009, when the team was upset by the Orono Spartans in the section final.
Megan Lazaro is in the net for Duluth Denfeld. It looks like Angela Charlie is back in the nets for the Red Knights.
I believe that's actually Maya Berg.
Maya Berg, if it's 24.
Yeah, Maya Berg is a freshman. Charlie suffered an ankle injury after the Hopkins game, and since her injury, Berg has done a great job in net for the Red Knights, picking up multiple shutouts and while containing poise, very excellent poise for a freshman.
And here she is in possibly one of the biggest games of her early career, Andrew.
Well, I think the one thing going through her mind is right now, she just got to play her normal game. She's got a great defense in front of her, and if the Red Knights do her job, she shouldn't face many shots. As Oppenheimer moves into the offensive zone, she is one of the 3 senior captains for the Red Knights. Plays to Alexa Tatarin. Ball comes free, and Lazaro comes out to make the save.
I was talking with Ron Weber, the head coach of the Denfeld Hunters, before the game about Lazaro. Describes her as one of the keys to the team's success this season.
Well, in the stats that we've been provided by Denfeld, she recorded 4 shots in the air, giving up an average of 1 goal per game. And she's one of the seniors on this team. This is a very senior-laden Duluth Denfeld, and they are looking to use their spin. There's a long through ball. Tatarin's going to reach it before it goes out of bounds. Tatarin, all-state player for the Red Knights. She has the end line. It's a pass, intercepted, corner kick, Red Knights.
With 35.5 minutes to go in the opening half, scoreless in St. Louis Park.
Well, the Red Knights are led by their terrific upfront play of senior Kelly Panic, Miss Soccer for 2013 Class A, Alexa Tanner, a sophomore forward and All-State, and Jordan Mass, a junior midfielder who recorded 20 goals and 9 assists on the season.
And there's a high kick.
It goes in just wide.
It will be a goal kick for the Hunters in their second trip to the state tournament and their first since 2000. It's also the 8th overall trip to the state tournament by a Duluth team. The Duluth East Greyhounds have made 6 trips to the state tournament, but has not won a championship trophy.
There's Mimi Burns in the midfield, and now she'll play it out wide to Emily Schmidt. Schmidt back again outside. Red Knights finding plenty of room to possess the ball early in the game. Catapodis makes the set for the Red Knights. Catapodis, another All-State member for the Red Knights, and one of the 3 senior captains, along with Katie Oppenheimer and Kelly Panic. Catapodis
also had an outstanding championship game. Section final, Andrew.
Yeah, she doesn't always score goals. It's Tattering with a great move, looking for space. And it's taken away. But yeah, Catapodis isn't a player that's always going to find herself on the scoreboard. She recorded 3 goals and 3 assists, but her presence in the middle as a defender and distributing the ball can't be undervalued by the Red Knights, as Oppenheimer will kick it out.
Head coach Scott Kelling-Christie described Catapodis as a strong player in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and the Red Knights with Kelly Panic and Megan Catapodis in the middle, it's really hard to establish possession against them, and they just move the ball so well side to side. If you don't have it on one side, they switch it over and look for an angle of attack on the other side, as we have a throw-in by Katie Oppenheimer.
33-23 to go in the first half. Nobody has erased the zeros from the scoreboard at this juncture.
Red Knights, however, have dominated most of the possession so far, as Allie Coughlin with a calm, collected touch. Plays wide to Burns. Tries to play the overball, but it's headed away.
That's Emily Fleissner for the Hunters.
Here's Kelly Panic now. Looking for space. Plays a great through ball. Here comes Tadrin. Can the Red Knights get on the board? No, it's deflected and picked up by the Lazaro.
Kaylee Ratcliffe defended Tadrin on the plays. We take another look at the block by Ratcliffe.
Well, that was a very nice defensive play. Tadrin would have had an all-alone shot had she not been... had Duluth Denfeld not gotten back, and so the Red Knights get the first real opportunity, but it's denied by the Hunters.
St. Louis Park, one of 4 quarterfinal sites designated by the High School League. The others are St. Cloud State, Park of Cottage Grove, where we were last year, Andrew, as well as a new one, Chisago Lakes and Lindstrom.
Yeah, Chisago Lakes and taking the place of Roseville, as St. Louis Park takes the place of Hopkins, just to mix it up a little as Lazaro prepares for the punt. Gets to
and a high one.
Gets to about the 40. It's kept in by the Red Knights, where Schmidt plays it now into Vanderhyde.
Aren't you fortunate, Andrew, that we didn't have to go all the way to St. Cloud?
Yeah, that's one of the more unattractive sites you could possibly say. Blake and Totino Grace, the 2 seeded teams to be placed up there this year.
Well, thank you.
As we're down to 31-20 in the first half, as play is on the far side of the field, defended by Paige Kessler of the Hunters, as we get our first substitution of the game. And while the sub is entering the game, if you would like to order a copy of the 2013 State Class A Girls Soccer Tournament quarterfinal game, it's very easy to do. Go to ParkTV.org or phone our viewer hotline at 952-924-2631. That's 952-924-2631. Or you can also talk to our producer-director, Paul Broden, who's in the truck, pushing the buttons to bring you all the sights as well as the sounds of this Class A quarter-final game.
Looking at both teams' schedules, so one common opponent they did have was Cloquet Carleton. The Red Knights pulled off a 7-0 victory over the over CC, while the Hunters were able to tie them 1-1 in their second to last game of the regular season. So not much to go off of besides that one game, opponent-wise. Megan Catapultis looking for some space, and it's taken by Vanderhyde to Panic.
Well, we have to extend our congratulations to Kelly Panic. This week she was named Miss Soccer in Class A high school girls soccer in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a very good honors. Here's Catapultis with a shot. Lazaro with the save. Yeah, Panic on the season recorded 25 goals and 19 assists, and she just was an all-around key player for the Red Knights squad. Her leadership as a senior, along with her play on the field, and she's probably not only one of the best soccer players in the state, but probably one of the best hockey players in the state as well. And come hockey season, will be definitely one of the best players in the Metro.
Well, speaking of girls hockey, practice begins on Monday, October 28th.
Can't believe it's already that time.
I don't know if Kelly Panic will be on the hockey rink getting ready for practice. It depends on what happens tonight. And there's still no score with 28:58 to go in the first half. As we get a substitution for Duluth Denfeld. It's Kylie Schaub, a senior, entering for Duluth Denfeld.
Yeah, looking at Duluth Denfeld, a lot of their scoring comes from their seniors, Flessner, Kessler, and Olson. So they have a lot of good senior leadership. Here's Tadrin. It's a through ball to Vanderhyde, looking for space. Does a little step over move. Vanderhyde, once again on the season, has 9 goals and 7 assists. As Catapultis once again takes the ball away. Plenty of operating room so far early in this game for the Red Knights game. Lots of space and time to do what they want as Panic is dispossessed.
But it looks like the Red Knights are in a good offensive control so far in the first half.
Well, I think the Red Knights are the better team, but Denfeld is trying to play an over-the-top style. Here's Vanderhyde with a chance for the Red Knights. Plays it to Tadrin, who just was a step off. Will keep it in play. So the Red Knights regroup.
Well, it looked like a pretty good pass.
Yeah, Tadrin just a step away from getting that in stride and having a shot on goal. As here's Panic now for the Red Knights. Keeps in. Unable to get around 2 defenders as Oppenheimer keeps it in. Oppenheimer. Shot goes wide. It'll be a goal kick for the Hunters.
This season, Denfeld went off to a 1-2 start, losing to a couple of teams from the Suburban East Conference, Hastings and Forest Lake. Since the loss to the Rangers, they went 12 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. Since they lost to Proctor and tied Hermantown twice and once, Cloquet, Esco, Carlton.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't matter how well you're playing at the start of the season. All that matters is how you play at the end. And Duluth Denfeld's a pretty good example of that. They didn't get off to the greatest of starts, but now they are in the state tournament, so I don't think they... I think it's here's Tadrin now for another chance. She has been just present. Shoots it over the left corner. Corner for a goal kick.
As we take another look at Tadrin's shot that went wide to the left.
Well, she's trying to get their shot into her favorite right foot, and on the season she has had 18 goals, 24 assists, and so she's a prolific scorer for the Red Knights. And so far in this game, she's got most of the good opportunities, but it looks like it was an offsides, actually, as the ball sent in. Coughlin getting a touch on it.
Scott Helling Christie was also telling me that Tadrin is a tremendous talent as a sophomore.
Yeah, she was brought up to the team as an 8th grader and earned her spot very well and has established herself as one of the best players in Class A. And she's only a sophomore, so she has plenty of time to keep getting better and possibly enter a few prestigious clubs for the Red Knights, including the 100-point club, which was entered by Kelly Panic earlier this year.
That's Kylie Schaub for the Hunters. Sends it over to Emily Fleissner. As the Red Knights go back on the attack. As not only Andrew is our second voice on the mic, he's also...
There's a shot. It's a goal for the Red Knights. Emma Vanderhyde makes it 1-0. Great play by the Reds, just coming down the wing massive. A great cross into Vanderhyde, and the Red Knights take a 1-0 lead with 25-12 remaining in the first half. Just a great slide shot, and I think you could see it coming based on the first few minutes of play. Just the Red Knights getting all the good opportunities and possessing the ball, and they finally get a breakthrough with Vanderhyde's goal.
As we saw in the replay, Andrew, Vanderhyde went through a couple Denfeld defenders and put the ball in the net to give the Red Knights the early lead.
Yeah, then that's the Red Knights offense right there. They are just going to come at you at waves. I saw in the Duluth paper is one of the teams that the Red Knights play early in the season. They relayed the Red Knights attack to a meteor shower. It just comes it comes in a wave after wave after wave, and it's just relentless. And let's see if they can keep getting some goals as Cal posts with a great defensive play.
Vanderhyde showered the ball into the net.
Ball's kicked to the far end where it will be a throw-in for the Hunters.
Well, as I was mentioning earlier, not only is Andrew our second voice tonight, he's also a resident Twitter master.
Yeah, I run the KE Sports feed for the Night Era, our school newspaper, so a little bit of multitasking today. As Panic opens up, and here's lots of space for Catapult possibly, and here's a chance for Tadrin to do some more damage.
Well, I'm sure you'll be willing to share some tweets with us tonight.
Yeah, well, as we already saw, as we probably saw already, Crescent was defeated by Mankato West 5-2 in the quarterfinal game preceding this, while the Blake Bears defeated Sartell St. Stephen's up at St. Cloud State 3-0. So the Bears will be back at the Metrodome, something that's almost become a tradition for them now in the last few years with the program they've established.
Well, for those who follow La Crescent athletics, it was probably a sour night for the town that's the home of Apple Fest.
As here come the Red Knights again, Tadrin looking to get a chance, cleared away by the Hunters.
Well, I'm sure you've heard about La Crescent being the home of Apple Fest.
I actually have not, I've learned something new.
The town is also next to La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's right on the border. It's in Section 1A, probably Rochester Lord's the soccer power in that area of the state.
Where the boys have had successful teams over the years led by Tom Kane.
Well, I mean, Rochester Lord's is defending 2012 state champion Class A. And this year they had to reload, and they're back in the state tournament once again. And as here's another long ball. Can Tadrin get there?
No.
Bumped off the ball.
That was Darby Ellison defending on the play for Denfeld.
And that's what you've got to do. You have to be physical with this Red Knight team. Make it uncomfortable for them as they approach the goals. Here's Kelly Panic battling. Is Oppenheimer now. This is starting to get pretty physical in the midfield.
That's Schmitz for the Red Knights.
Schmitz tries to play it through, and it's hit off of Burns, a junior for the Red Knights. There's a long ball headed out.
And it's taken by Emily Schultz.
Now the ball is played back. Lazaro will just get it up a nice boot to around the 38-yard line, but it's a good step by Mimi Burns. Plays it to Tadrin, and the Hunters regain possession. Will just boot it up. Anna Barger with a nice step there, and that's, I think, going to be the Hunter strategy. Is just try to catch the Red Knights off guard with the counterattack. Make it. They're just going to hope they can limit the scoring, then get a lucky break or something. As Tadrin with the ball. Looked for an overlap with Vanderhyde. Mattis. Vanderhyde, plenty of space for Red Knights. Here's Tadrin, makes a move. She's taken down the box. No call by the referee.
It looked like she was getting close to being tripped, Andrew.
Yeah, it's as we look at this again, she makes a nice split of defenders and just a little contact there. Both players did go down, though, so that could have been influential in the referee's decision.
as we're down to 21 minutes to go in the first half with the Red Knights up by 1 on a goal from Emma Vanderhyde.
Well, Vanderhyde scored the 1 goal for the first, the 2 actually, the 5 goals for Red Knights in their section by 1. So she is, you could say, enjoying the pressure so far, and she's coming up big in these big games as we have some substitutions. As Mara Noble comes in the game for Red Knights, while a Wave of Hunters takes the place.
It looks like the Hunters are beginning to show their depth, Andrew.
Well, I think they're going to want to keep fresh bodies out there and just try and stay and make runs and stuff as goes out, and the Hunters will have a chance to regroup, maybe get some offensive firepower going.
Duluth Denfeld began in 1926.
And lately there are 3 schools in the Duluth area, Duluth East and Duluth Denfeld being the 2 public schools, Duluth Marshall, the private school. However, there used to be a 4th school, Duluth Central, which merged with Denfeld to form the now existing schools. Here's a high ball. Catapultus unable to get a touch on it. It spins to a Hunter. Red Knights have to work, maybe communicate a little better. Here's the ball sent in. And Maya Berg getting her first touch of the game. It's a nice, easy save for the freshman goalie.
Berg finally getting an opportunity in the net for the Red Knights.
And I think that has to calm her nerves just a little bit. The fewer she touches the ball and makes easy saves, it's just going to build her confidence as this game goes on.
But if you're wondering where the nickname the Hunters came from, the name came from the longtime athletic director at Denfeld, Walt Hunting. He was the athletic director for 30 years at Denfeld.
Ball is cleared up by the Red Knights. Some other scores going on. Up at Chisago Lakes, we have 2A boys soccer. North St. Paul and Prairie Seeds Academy tied 1-1 at half. Justin Oliver scoring the lone goal for the Polars. As here come the Red Knights now, and here's a long through wrong ball. Vanderhyde, great touch with her head to control it. Plays to Kelly Panic. Panic right on the SLP logo. Now she has Catapultus. Here comes Tatter making a run. She's broken free. Slides it wide. And Tadrin right now has just been everywhere in the offensive end for the Red Knights. Just out sprints the defender there, and maybe a little clipping of the foot just at the end, but in the end it's another Red Knight opportunity.
It also looked like she was fouled by Mindy Aubin.
You could have made the case for contact there, but I don't think there was enough where it affected where she wasn't able to get the shot off. She still got the shot off, and that probably was assessed by the referees. Here comes Denfeld now looking to be on the attack.
That's Paige Kessler.
Ball's played through Maya Berg with the easy pickup.
As we're down to 17:42 to go in the first half, a 1-goal lead for the Red Knights. And by the way, do you have a final in that Blake game?
Yeah, Blake defeated Sartell St. Stephen's 3-0. So Blake, I mean, it's Benilde and Blake so far as the 2 top teams in the state, and as everything's playing out right now, they would be at the Metrodome where they rightfully should be. As we had a foul on the Red Knights there.
So congratulations to head coach Paul Mengi on advancing to the Metrodome.
Coffin with the clearance as Kelly Panic. As here's the ball taken now. Ball sent in, cleared away by the Red Knights. Here come the Red Knights now. Tadrin had a chance to find Noble in space and just couldn't get the ball to her. And now it's moved up by the Hunters.
As the pass intended for Taylor Olson was broken up.
Seen the last few minutes, Duluth Denfeld picking up their offensive intensity so far, and they've gotten the ball more into the Red Knights' end and are starting to pose a threat.
As we're down to 16:20 to go in the first half, a 1-goal lead for the Red Knights. The goal scored by Emma Vanderhyde.
Yeah, Vanderhyde getting her 10th goal of the year. Jordan Mass recording the assist, her 10th of the season for her 30th point. And as here's a shot. Someone, Berg, making another pickup. She's made 3 pickups lately in the last couple minutes compared to 0 in the first 20 minutes of the game. It's a booming punt to just under the 50-yard line.
Now it's Denfeld in possession. Paige Kessler sends it upfield.
Through ball. Oppenheimer will shield. It'll be a goal kick. St. Louis Park, one of the newest schools in the metro to institute a field turf, a turf field, and it adds a little more width to the field compared to previous years, and that's why it's probably more and that's why it's become suitable to host state tournament games. Here's Tadrin looking for space. She plays it through to Vanderhyde. Vanderhyde on the outside of the penalty area. Has an option back. She's got Katie Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, plenty of space. Looking for Kelly Panic. It bounces through. Took a deflection off the head. Was not intentional. The goalie is able to pick it up. As a great through ball by Oppenheimer. And Kelly Panic, I don't know, she didn't think there was a defender on her back, but it was a great opportunity for the Red Knights.
As Johanna Marciniak was defending right in front of Lazaro.
Here's Mara Noble now, the freshman midfielder for the Red Knights.
The ball goes by Katie Marsa.
Here's Katie Oppenheimer now. Great touch to Tanner. If she turns, she has space. She's got Oppenheimer down the side. It's deflected away. Tadrin looking to split the defenders. It's cleared away.
That's Fleissner. Headed to Emma Kloster. As the Red Knights go back on the attack with 13:45 to go in the first half. There's one other quarterfinal game being played tonight on the girls' side. Totino Grace and Hill Murray.
Well, Totino Grace and Hill Murray are also meeting on the boys' side. And so it's those two schools getting to know each other pretty well.
Boys 2A quarterfinal score for Park and Cottage Grove. Owatonna defeated Eastview 2-1.
Congratulations to the Owatonna Huskies.
Defeated Owatonna 2-1.
So Eastview beat Owatonna 2-1. Public address announcer Ira Gerwitz reversing the score.
Eastview, the
As the
defending
Eastview Lightning.
Eastville, the 2012 Class 2A champions. They've been in the state tournament the last 2 years, entering the tournament for the 3rd year in program history, and they are stepping themselves as one of the top 2A programs. Kelly Panic with a brilliant move through the midfield, and now it's a line drive into Tadrin. Vanderhyde picks it up, gets a shot, might have taken a deflection. And it'll be did not actually take a deflection.
But no offense against Ira. I've known him for years. He's done a lot of games for ParkTV 16. He really shows a lot of soccer knowledge. Not to mention the fact he's also coached a lot of the St. Louis Park players who would make the girls varsity over the years.
Well, St. Louis Park developing themselves into one of the top soccer schools, like you could say, in girls, becoming one of the few teams in the North Suburban Conference, which will be disbanding this year, to compete with the Red Knights. But on the boys' side, we're one of the top programs in the state this year in 2A, and just were unable to get past Wayzata in the semifinals. Here's a brilliant through ball by Kelly Panic to Alexa Tadrin. Tadrin assessing her options. She's got space. It's a through ball in. Lazaro with the save. Kelly Panic kept joking around a little there with Vanderhyde, probably kidding how she didn't finish that. It's Tadrin here. Assessed. And let's see. It looks like the outside, or the outside, correction of her right foot, and it just didn't get the touch she wanted on it.
It also looked like an outstanding centering pass, but it just deflected off Vanderhyde.
Well, Lazaro's been very passive in coming out, not coming out for those through balls that give Tadrin plenty of space, and so the Red Knights, and particularly Tadrin, have been taking advantage of that. as Oppenheimer's clearance goes through. Maya Berg comes out. The collapse dive save. Barger allowed that to go through and make the easy pickup.
Well, suppose Owatonna did beat Eastview. You think that would have been a major upset?
I think it would have been. I mean, but Owatonna is a very good team. They have one of the top goalies in the state. I'd say the upset, though, so far was Andover being Southwest 2-1. I mean, Southwest was my pick to win the state tournament, and that's gone down the drain, so.
When you get into the state tournament, anything can happen.
What we saw a few years ago is the Red Knights were ranked #1. They played Chisago Lakes at Hopkins High School and lost 1-0. They outshot the Wildcats all game, outplayed them, outpossessed them, and all it took was one goal, and that was the end of their season.
And there was one game that St. Louis Park played in over at Hopkins High School when they played the top-seeded Apple Valley Eagles, and the Orioles won that game,
Well,
advancing to the Metrodome.
Apple Valley, I looked at some of their previous teams from a few years ago, and man, were they good. Tom Warbaski, and they've just got one of the great programs. It's going to be it's been down lately by their standards, but you know they are probably one of the most prestigious boys soccer program in the state of Minnesota with 9 state titles.
And it's also going to be the final season for veteran head coach Chuck Scanlon. He'll be retiring at the end of the season.
Yeah, there was a story written about him in the Star Tribune Prep as Tadderin once again menacing the Hunter defense. It's a through ball sent by Panic. It's bouncing around dangerously in the box. Is Catapodis now. Catapodis thrown down. Referee not calling many fouls. Tadderin now. She's got options. Dispossessed. Back. Nice give and go. Offsides is the call.
As we're down to 8:53 to go in the first half, a 1-goal lead for the Red Knights. Any other good tweets, Andrew?
I haven't seen much. Edina's leading Elk River 1-0 in a boys 2A quarterfinal. Edina the 2 seed, so with the elimination of Southwest by seed, they are the favorite. They would be the favorite to win the state title, but as you know, it is state, as you've said, and anything can happen.
In the Class AA girls quarterfinals were played yesterday at Park of Cottage Grove. Burnsville and Lakeville North advanced, setting up the South Suburban Showdown for the Metrodome next Tuesday, and a late conference matchup following between Eden Prairie and Minnetonka.
Yeah, it's the 2 biggest conferences in the state matching up with each other, and it's Catapult sent a through ball. Here comes Tadderin down the line, assessing her options, looking to get a shot with her favorite right foot. Comes in, lets it go. It takes a deflection.
That was Kylie Schaub who deflected it.
Panic harassing the midfielder there as the Hunters get it out. Hunters trying to establish something on offense right now, but the midfield of the Red Knights is just not letting it happen. Schmitz make a run. And she's gotten around her defender, comes into the box, sends it into Vanderhyde. Looking for options. She'll play it out to Kelly Panic, and it's taken away.
Well, that Burnsville-Lakeville North game should be interesting. Burnsville has been a dominant power for many years, even going back to the days of the one-class tournament under Don Gerlach.
Panic with the ball on the edge. Probably going to look to draw a corner or something. She sends a cross in. Lazaro with the easy pickup.
As we're down to 7 minutes in the first half.
Lazaro probably with about 4 or 5 saves so far in the game.
That's Emma Kloster for the Hunters.
Katie Oppenheimer wins it, and then there's Catapultus with a great win in the midfield. Vanderhyde looking for options, takes a nice drag out to the right outside. Here's Emily Schmitz looking for Catapultus just above the 18. And now Tadderin with it, unable to keep it in.
As we get a substitution into the game for the Hunters. We're among their alumni. includes Rob Stauber, the former Gopher,
Oh, yeah.
and former New York newscaster Roger Grimsby, who was a pioneer in the eyewitness news format in the 60s.
Yeah. 6 minutes left in the first half. Red Knights lead 1-0 with Emma Vanderhyde recording the lone goal for the Red Knights. They'd like to extend their lead possibly by the end of this half. As here comes Denfeld now. Allie Coughlin with the step.
It also looked like Oppenheimer was defending.
Yeah, Oppenheimer giving chase. Another great step by Oppenheimer is Catapodis. Unable to find Panic. And now Noble challenges and comes out victorious. And here come the Red Knights. They have numbers. Great through ball by Noble. Possible chance for the Red Knights. A great defensive clearance right there. But Noble thunders in, headed away. Kelly Panic with a great through ball. It's cleared away.
And also picked up by Jordan Nelson.
Here's some great movement now by the Red Knights. Martin Noble assessing, takes the shot. Lazaro with the easy pickup.
As we're down to 4:35 in the first half.
Lazaro, low line drive kick right to Kelly Panic. Assessing her options, and now she finds Noble with some space. Noble plays it through to Tatterin. She's bumped off by a defender, and Lazaro makes the pickup.
Looks like the ball overran Tatterin.
Well, it was just didn't quite have the angle she wanted on it, but you know, they're just testing this Denfeld defense, and I mean, they've got the one goal on the board. The through ball.
Red Knights
Coughlin.
in their own territory.
Coughlin is assessing her options. It's a nice way to get out of the area. Megan Catapodis.
As we get substitutions for each team.
Kiera Klacko coming in for the Red Knights, a junior defender.
In for the Hunters, who are in the same colors as the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah, they're probably one of the easier uniforms we've gotten to see the numbers on this year, and the maroon and the gold outline.
Paige Kessler is back in for Denfeld.
Goal kick for the Red Knights.
As we're down to 2:48 in the first half. There's also more Class A soccer coming tomorrow in St. Louis Park as Waseca takes on Como Park, followed by defending champion Rochester Lords and Sartell St. Stephen.
Well, I mean, St. Paul Como, I believe, is the 1 seed, and I think they are probably the favorite as of now, but you have to watch out for Rochester Lords. They've been here before, and they have one of the top coaches in the state, as you've said, and so they will be I mean, they're just giving you a good team. They've got one of the top scorers in the state, Johnny Lawson, who had, I believe, 25 goals. So they can get it on the board. It's just whether or not the ball bounces their way.
It's also the first tournament for Waseca.
Waseca, yeah, having a good year in athletics, you could say. They are 8 undefeated on the football field. Here's Panic now. She's got Tatterin down the wing. Tatterin has a click off her back heel. Now she splits. Here's a through ball, cleared away. Tatterin maybe had the angle for the shot as we enter the final minute 40 of the first half.
As Oppenheimer will throw it in. Looking at Waseca's road to the state tournament, they won all 4 games, 3 out of their 4 games by way of the shutout, 11-3-1. And they won against Mankato West in overtime.
Yeah, Mankato West was the #1 seed in that section. We've played them actually in the scrimmage, and they weren't that bad. But I think Waseca had the 3 seed in their section. You know, a 2-1 overtime victory. You never know what happens. So I mean, congratulations to Wasika on making it to the state tournament.
Denfeld was the number 2 seed in Section 7A, beating the Hermantown Hawks in the championship as we were in the final minute of the first half.
Red Knights have a free kick at about the 50-yard line. So we have a halftime score between Totino Grace and Hill Murray. Totino Grace leading 1-0 over the Pioneers.
Totino Grace, also a perennial power in girls soccer, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, they, along with the Red Knights, are just known for their state championships. Now we have a corner kick for the Red Knights as we enter the final 22 seconds.
One more opportunity for the Red Knights in the first half.
Tattern, I believe, will be taking it. It's a nice line drive. Bendy away from the keeper. Took a deflection. Corner kick. 5-4. I don't think they'll get it off.
As the first half will come to a close at St. Louis Park High School, with the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights leading the Duluth Denfeld Hunters 1-0 on a goal from Emma Vanderheide. We will take a break, and we'll be back with the second half of the 2013 Minnesota State High School Girls Soccer Tournament Class A quarterfinal game between the Duluth Denfeld Hunters and the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights. You're watching the 2013 Minnesota State High School Girls Soccer Tournament on ParkTV 16.
Hi, I'm Betty White, and I'd like to share some news about an exciting project at Guide Dogs for the Blind. Guide Dogs for the Blind is building a new state-of-the-art student residence hall. It's where the magical partnership between someone who's blind and his new guide dog begins. Join me in helping them build a bright new future. Learn more online at guidedogs.com.
Back at St. Louis Park High School as we get set for the second half of the 2013 Minnesota State High School Class A Girls Soccer Tournament, with the Red Knights leading the Duluth Denfeld Hunters by 1. The lone goal coming from Emma Vanderheide at the 14:48 mark of the first half.
Yeah, and the Red Knights, I mean, they might have one goal on the scoreboard, a 1-0 lead, but I think they've really dominated play, made it they've just been making run after run after run into the Hunters area, and sooner or later, hopefully they can get breaks from extend this lead, because in a 1-0 game, all it takes is a bad bounce or a missed header, and everything changes. So we look at the bracket here for Class A soccer. Blake and Mankato West have already punched their tickets to the Metrodome, with Totino Grace leading 1-0 over Hill Murray at halftime, and the Red Knights with a 1-0 lead at halftime, both looking to make it to the state tournament.
Winner goes to the Metrodome.
Hunters will start off, and they send it up. It's not the greatest of clearances, but it will go out for a throw-in.
As we were saying, Andrew, when we were doing the championship game between Benilde-St. Margaret's and Orono, this year marks the final year of the state semifinals and championship games being played at the Metrodome.
Yeah, with the new Vikings stadium, the Minnesota State High School League had to find a new place to host the soccer tournament. And I think St. Cloud State's a nice choice. It's got a turf field, and it's very central location. I mean, some of the metro schools might, it's going to be a drive for some of them, but it's trying to cater to the outstate schools as well.
It's also going to be the first team sport to be played in an outstate location since girls softball at Caswell Park in North Mankato. If it is definite.
Yes, I can.
Catapult is getting a touch on the ball, and there's a step by Emily Schmitz.
Got it.
Now takes the deflection. Fits the defender. Here's a good chance possibly for the Hunters. And Katie Oppenheimer comes in and clears the ball away. Probably maybe the first real good chance possibly for the Hunters.
How's the refs doing?
As they draw a throw-in.
with 1:28 gone by in the second half. Well, we do have some sad news to report in the world of sports broadcasting this week. Bill Mazer, a pioneer in sports talk radio, especially in New York.
As here comes Denfeld with a possible chance. Barger getting in the way. Sorry to interrupt you there, Howard, but...
It's Bill Mazer, who was a pioneer in sports talk radio back in 1964 in New York, passed away on Wednesday, October 23rd, at the age of 91.
Here's the corner kick. Headed away by the Red Knights, but Denfeld getting probably their two best opportunities, and now here comes a possible counterattack. Jordan Mattis sprinting down the sideline. Need to possibly get into the middle, and they have Vanderhyde. Mattis has to hold up. Possible chance for a give and go there, but the Red Knights not maybe the best spacing on that counterattack.
As they're back on defense. But why the mention of Bill Mazer? Because he pioneered sports talk radio. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have stations like K-Fan on the air. Or call-in shows.
Yeah, someone has to start it somewhere, and it's unfortunate we lose someone like him who was so instrumental in the development of sports broadcasting.
But one thing that set him apart was he was a walking encyclopedia of sports. There was a segment on his show where listeners would call in to try to stump him with a trivia question, and they didn't give a lot of prizes away because he knew a lot of the answers.
Lazaro making the pickup, and it's not the greatest pun in the world.
But we do have a halftime score in the Hill Murray-Totino Grace game. The Pioneers lead the Eagles 1-0 at the half.
Okay. Ball rolls out. It'll be a throw-in for the Hunters. Denfeld coming out really strong in this second half. There's a player knocked down, no foul. Catapultus draws the defender in the air, sidesteps her, and now it's an over ball. Tattering giving chase for the Red Knights. It's played back to Lazaro. Good play by the Hunters right there to relieve the pressure.
Well, Andrew, getting briefly back to Bill Mazer, if you decided to call in with a sports trivia question to ask him, what would the question be?
I would say, in what baseball stadium was the 1 millionth hit recorded in Major League Baseball history? And the answer is the Astrodome, the former home of the Houston Astros. But that's kind of my go-to sports trivia question.
Well, we would have hoped you won a prize.
Yeah.
Back to the game right now with the Red Knights going on the attack. Catapultus.
Matt is unable to get a clean touch on it. And here comes Denfeld. Catapultus just Catapultus and Panic have just really dominated the middle so far for the Red Knights. Catapultus more on the defensive end, that Panic's offensive prowess. But, I mean, that's what has made the Red Knights season so successful and why they are one of the top teams in the state. Is Barger makes a nice step on a potentially dangerous ball. Mattis lets it roll out, and it'll be a throw-in for the Red Knights.
The Red Knights went through a 5-game stretch from October 1st to the 12th where they had 5 consecutive shutouts.
Yeah, well, in a shutout, it's not just the goalkeeper. I mean, you can have a great goalkeeper, but if you don't have a great defense in front of him, it's going to be very tough for a goalie to record shutouts. But it's a team effort, and that just shows that the Red Knights are a team that, yes, they can get goals on the board, but defensively, they're one of the top in the state.
That's why you have 11 players on the field working together.
Yeah, soccer's a team sport. You can't just win it all with one player unless there's certain exceptions to that. But at the world-class level, but it's a team game here at the high school level. Red Knights switch possession very well right there. And now Schmidt with space finds Catapultus. Jordan Mattis. Mattis and Vanderhyde not on the same page on that potential give and go.
Now it's Vanderhyde.
Vanderhyde needs to try and maybe distribute the ball a little more there as Panic now makes a runner for Schmidt. Schmidt with a chance to put the Red Knights up 2-0. And it's going to be a goal kick.
As we take another look as you see how the ball went through the goal area.
Yeah, just a very dangerous ball. Unfortunate the Red Knights didn't have someone weak side coming through to blast that in, as it rolled out just before it was touched.
How would you have played the ball, Andrew?
I would have tried to get on there. Here's a shot by the Red Knights. Lazaro making the kick, making the save. And we have an update at North St. Paul Prairie East. North St. Paul is taking a 2-1 lead on a goal by Hildebrandt in the 43rd minute.
North St. Paul was the team that gave St. Louis Park its only regular season loss.
Well, when you have two players as gifted as Justin and Tyler all over, you're going to win a lot of games. And Justin picked up Mr. Soccer for Class 2A, and they have really been the centerpiece of the Polars program, as Denfeld looking to John Millay.
And we would also like to thank John Millay of the Minnesota State High School League.
Yeah, Millay travels around the high school area, and he's one of those guys. He's not always at the big game, but he finds the story. He finds the story that is interesting to the public, and I think one of the great people at the Minnesota State High School League.
I've run into him almost every state tournament I've covered for Examiner.com. He's a great guy. He really knows what he's doing.
Next time you run into him,
Of course not.
Howard is getting talking with some of the people here in this crowded St. Louis Park press box, as Catapodis makes a step on the ball and able to gather anything on it except a little air, as Coughlin making a step now, and now Denfeld's on the attack.
You think there's a line waiting to get into the press box?
Ball is cleared by Red Knights. Denfeld looking very dangerous. It's cleared away.
As the Hunters go on the attack, Emily Fleissner.
Denfeld has really stepped up their game this second half. They're attacking much more. There's a great clearance by Kiara Klacko. And now it's possible. Can Tattern get there? Good clearance by Lazaro. Denfeld relies on Lazaro a lot to get that ball out. Goalies used to be able to pick it up with their hands and possibly get a drop kick for that 80-yard transition. But with the institution of the rule where they can no longer use their hands on a back pass, it made it difficult and made goalies have to learn better field skills and make the back pass a much more risky of a play.
I suppose there was one thing you learned from head coach Dave Platt over the years he played goalie.
Being a goalie, you learn the rules over time through trial and error. Here's the Red Knights on the attack. Burns. It will roll out off the pole for a throw-in for Denfeld.
30:15 to go in regulation, a one-goal lead for the Red Knights. Reminder again, if you would like to order a copy of the 2013 Minnesota State Class A Girls Soccer State Tournament quarterfinal game, go to ParkTV.org or phone or viewer hotline at 952-924-2631.
Catapodis finds Mimi Burns. She'll play it wide, and here's a high arcing ball. Mattis giving chase. It's headed away and will be a corner kick for the Red Knights, their third of the game.
And as we take a look at the corner kick,
Alexa Tattern taking it for the Red Knights. Tattern, not a lot of room to operate on that corner. Now she'll send in a high ball. Panic making a run at it, and Lazaro will make the easy pickup.
one of the keys to Denfeld's success, according to head coach Ron Weber, has been their defense.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. They did a nice job on the year. Not only the highest amount of goals they allowed in a single game this year was 2, and that was against Forest Lake in their first game of the year. So I mean, they have a very strong defense, and the goals have been hard to come by playing this team. As here come the Red Knights now into the offensive zone, and we'll have a throw-in for the Hunters.
Denfeld only broke in the double figures once on September 28th against North Branch when they shut out the Vikings 10-0.
Here comes Kelly Panic now down the side. Red Knights, on the contrary to your stat, reached double figures 3 times with wins over Columbia Heights, Fridley, and Mount West Tonka. Panic making an error on the sideline, tried to get a corner, instead it results in a goal kick and a loss of possession. Ball is kicked up. Katie Oppenheimer with the step. Tatterin maybe held a little there, no call by the referee. Referee letting him play today, not many foul calls. Megan Capos with a great switch of field. Here's a step now by Hunters. And Coughlin is there to clean up the mess.
That's Kessler for Denfeld.
And once again, Capos comes up with the ball. Vanderhyde steps into space. And she'll take it. She lets fly with a shot. Maybe not the most, as Mattis runs through. Referee, let's see what he does here. Stopping the clock and just giving a talk to Mattis. As you can see, the foul right there.
But one thing we haven't seen tonight, Andrew, are any yellow cards.
Yeah, a referee just letting him play. And it depends on the style of referee. He can choose to either establish himself as, we are going to, I'm not let anything go and dish out me a few premature cards. But I like this referee's done a nice job. He's letting him play, and he's made sure that if anything malicious does come up, he's called it.
As we're down to 26:45 in regulation. The Red Knights have only played one overtime game this season. August 27th against the Blake Bears, where the score remained even at 1.
Yeah, probably the 2 top programs, as we have a foul here, and Oppenheimer called. She was grabbed initially, but here's a clearance by the Red Knights. And they get it out. With that 1-0 lead, every chance by the Hunters, it gets you on your nerves just a little bit. Just anything can happen, and it's a completely different ball game. Vanderhyde with a brilliant ball down the line. Can Tatterin get there? She has it. Gonna try and create some space. Sent it through. Lazaro with a great save.
As it looks like we'll be taking another look at Lazaro's saves. Look at Tatterin's shot, Andrew.
Well, I think she was looking for that cross there, and a Red Knight making a run on the weekend and just unable to get there. Great goalkeeping though right there. Got down on her feet, good technique, and doesn't spill the ball and allow a rebound.
Got any more tweets, Andrew?
No, nothing besides the North St. Paul leading Prairie Seeds 2-1. Here's Kelly Panic now with the ball for Red Knights. Miss Soccer 2013 for Class A. Plays it through to Tatterin. Ball just rolls harmlessly to Rosario, and there'll be another punt by the Denfeld keeper.
As we're down to 24:42 in regulation. It will be a throw-in for the Red Knights.
Ball on the edge of the box. Panic and another Red Knight fighting for it, and they elect to play it all the way back to Ellie Coughlin. Barger controlling the defense back there and calls for it, and the Red Knights have lots of space to work with now on the change. And now here's some space for Vanderhyde. Plays a through ball to Tatterin.
Here's a chance. Wide to the
Deflected.
left.
Deflected off of the Denfeld defenders. We'll get another look at it. Vanderheide with a great turn into space. And then an excellent through ball. Tattern makes the run, and it looks like that might have found a corner had the defender not been there.
Did you also notice how Vanderheide changed positions on the play, Andrew?
Well, she did a nice job changing of pace and finding the space she needed to create that opportunity. It's just unfortunate they weren't able to find the back of the net.
But she also created an opportunity for a corner kick for Tattern.
Here's the kick. High lofting ball. Red Knight player unmarked. Denfeld's allowed maybe a couple free headers that the Red Knights could have made interesting. Ball's played through. Tattern looking to get on the right foot. Deflected away by the Denfeld defender. Emily Schmidt. Pass gets through, and Kelly Panic now with it. She's dispossessed. Emily Schmitz finds now it's to Catapodis. And she splits defenders. The All-State midfielder lets loose. Just wide. Catapodis looking to get on the scoreboard with this beautiful array of moves.
And number 16,
As we take another look at the shot by Megan Catapodis. It will be a goal kick for the Hunters.
22-20 left. Denfeld showed a little more offensive attack in the first, I'd say 10 minutes of this half, and since then Benilde-St. has gotten it together and now have reestablished themselves in their own Denfeld's end.
We were also talking about Benilde-St. Margaret's and Blake girls soccer earlier. This coming Saturday night, both football teams will be in action in St. Louis Park in the Section 6 4A semifinals.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest, I'd say one of the bigger games in Benilde history. Blake comes into game 7-1, their lone loss to St. Croix Lutheran. Benilde-St. Margaret's, this is kind of like their team, They've got Keaton Sucher, quarterback, in a very explosive offense, and are looking to possibly make a run at a state tournament. It's going to be a great game. It's a very good rivalry as it is between these two schools. Here's a long ball played to Noel. We had a foul, but it's I think one of the best private school rivalries in the state, and they don't get to show it that often in the football field. And it'll be a nice, I think, just a very good football game between two very good teams.
The Bears have really turned things around after 7 losing seasons under head coach John Cota.
Yeah, they got an article. The Bears had an article written about them in Star Tribune, and shows and have really just had a great season overall. Marcus Berg, their running back, having a phenomenal season and establishing himself as one of the top players in 4A. So Red Knights are going to have to find a way to shut him down, but on the Bears' end, they're going to have to find a way to stop Keaton Studshrew.
When you look at the Tri-Metro Conference over the years in football, Andrew, there's been a lot of quality teams. You got De La Salle, St. Croix Lutheran, and now the upstart Blake Bears.
Yeah, it's a very competitive conference, and it's going to be going underneath some change with all the conference realignment. So next year it won't be the same Tri-Metro we've been used to. As Denfeld looking to clear, throw in Red Knights as we reach the halfway mark of the second half. Red Knights leading 1-0.
And a substitution for the Red Knights.
Number 6,
Maren Noble is back in for Benilde-St. Margaret's. One team that's going to be leaving the Tri-Metro that's been doing well in football over the years, Andrew, is Providence Academy.
Yeah, they've just been one of the better teams for the Tri-Metro. This year, a tough loss to Breck in their section quarterfinal, but I bet you they'll be back and better next year.
Breck was a power for years in the Tri-Metro.
Here's a through ball. Barger plays to Schmitz. And now it's possibly a turnover. Those are the plays you get a little nervous as a Red Knight fan. Those plays where you give the opponent something that they really haven't earned. As Panic keeps the ball in.
It also looked like Schmitz was being double-teamed by a couple of hunters.
Yeah, and we have a foul on the play after the ball was passed. Schmidt taken down. His panic elects for a quick restart. And Catapult sends a line drive ball. What a ball. Tatterin. Lazaro making the save.
An outstanding save by Megan Lazaro.
I thought for a second she was waiting in her goal, but great job by the senior goalie to come out and make the clutch play.
It will also, as play continues,
Noble taken down. Red Knights will have a free kick. It's taken it, put in. Lazaro comes out. The defense clears it away before it becomes trouble. And now here comes Denfeld. It's a 4-on-5. Good for numbers, possibly, and it goes out of bounds.
and a throw-in for the Red Knights. Denfeld is located on the west side of Duluth.
Noble plays to Kelly Panic. Now Panic plays a long through ball, offsides. Pattern was offsides.
And you were right about that one.
Well, you could see Tattern, I think, just started to run just a little too early. Linesman great, had good position, makes the correct call.
The last time Denfeld won a state championship in any sport was 1953 when they won ski jumping. 1947 they won the one-class boys basketball tournament, and they won the state baseball tournament, which was one class back then, in 1950. They have not won any major team sport championships since then.
I mean, you could kind of say they're in a little bit of a title drought, but I mean, it's really tough with all the competitive schools and the separation of classes, and you know, hopefully they can find a way to possibly get to a state championship soon.
There's also been the emergence of Duluth East in many sports, especially boys hockey.
Yeah, Duluth East, I mean, they have had one of the establishments of one of the top class 2A programs in the state, and have just, I mean, they're going to be there for a long time probably. I mean, they haven't quite won state, a couple misfortunes, ran into Kyle Rao in 2011, get upset by Justin Klus, Mr. Hockey, and then last year, I believe it was Edina, or one, can't remember who it was today, but they were knocked off in the semifinal.
What's interesting about Duluth East and boys hockey is, unlike many schools, they play an independent schedule.
Yeah, well, same with Benilde-St. Margaret's actually, and I think it's, you know, you don't get the best play out your conference, and you let to challenge yourself with better teams, and the better teams you play in the regular season, I believe, the more prepared you are for the playoffs.
That's what Mike Randolph was telling me at the state tournament, that you learn by playing top quality teams instead of playing the smaller schools in Duluth East region. And there are a lot of Class A schools instead of the AA schools like Duluth East.
Red Knights looking to establish possession in midfield. Kelly Panic, and now it's a great ball. Here's Tatterin coming down the lane. Let's see what she does. Her touch takes the ball away. Here's a shot.
Goes wide.
Just wide. Tatterin hasn't established herself as much as a threat in the second half as she did in the first half. As we see here, oh, just a great touch. And yeah, it looked like it was wide all the way. Wasn't quite on frame.
You can also see the ball went through a couple of Denfeld defenders.
Yeah, she did a nice job finding spaces. Now there's a poor goal kick. Vanderheim will let one fly. It's 3 points in football, 0 in soccer.
As the ball looked like it was headed for the concession stand.
So see Vanderheim gets in, just lets it, sends it over to goal. Maybe kind of a touch or two of space left. As here's the goal kick. 14:25 left in this game. As now here's a possible turnover. Tatterin battling with a Denfeld defender. Good play there by senior defender Kali Rakalife to provide herself as an option for the clearance. Katie Oppenheim with it for the Red Knights. Tries to play for Mass. It takes a deflection and will be cleared out.
In the 3 years that we've covered state tournaments, Sandra, the one common thread through most of the state tournament games have been 1-0 games.
Yeah, a lot of 1-0 games. A little bit of a battle. Nothing called by the referee. Substitutions.
It looks like Katie Marsa will be back in for the Hunters. 13:22 to go in regulation. Reminder, the winner takes on Mankato West at the Metrodome. 10 o'clock on Monday, October 28th.
Here's Kelly Panic. Sends it over. Good defensive positioning once again by Duluth Denfeld. There's a step by Schmidt. She looks to send it to Tatterin. Great touch. I don't know if that was intentional, but it finds Mattis. Unfortunately, Mattis is unable to convert it into a scoring opportunity.
Well, one other milestone this week, Andrew, took place in high school sports right here in the state. The Edina Hornets girls tennis team won their 17th consecutive state championship.
Yeah, where Duluth Denfeld has been struggling to win state championships, Edina has pretty much racked up more state titles than some schools have in girls tennis, and I mean that's just a streak you can't think of anyone matching really ever. And I think the day that they get beat and don't win states could be a real shock for some people.
Don't you think that's a national record?
It's probably right up there.
But anyway, congratulations to the Edina Hornets. And they're probably going to run out of room in their trophy case for another state championship trophy.
Ball is played back. Barger elects to play, and a great job by Red Knights to relieve the pressure as Noble makes a run through the midfield. Tries to play it through to Jordan Mattis, and Catapodis now elects for a high arcing ball. Vanderheide gets ahead on it. She's in front of goal, doesn't get the touch she needed. And it is picked up by Lazaro. As you can see here, got a head on it, and it was misheaded. And yeah, she just didn't quite hit it right.
If she had better footing on that play, she would have had a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, I think she probably finds the back of the net if she gets everything on that one.
Scott Helen Christie was also mentioning that the Red Knights have the talent to repeat as state champions, and they have to prove it on the field.
And here's a move by Vanderheide.
What a save by Lazaro.
Vanderheide took too big of a touch there, give Lazaro a chance. Good sportsmanship there by the two, and just unable to finish. And as you see here, great fake, and she has the shot right there, and she's just got to take it. And unfortunately, it's another missed opportunity by the Red Knights, but right now they are dominating possession. So we enter the final 10 minutes of play. Kelly Panic in the midfield for the Red Knights, their leading scorer. Now it's mishit by Noble. Noble gets a touch. See what the Red Knights do now. She plays it through. Tatterin, it took a touch. Here comes Vanderheide.
And another save from Lazaro. The senior goalkeeper from the Hunters has been hunting down Red Knight balls in the net.
She's in the first half, I felt like she was maybe a little passive and coming out, and so far in the second half, she's denied about 2 or 3 goals by coming off her line and making great pickups on dangerous through balls. But Denfeld's starting to push up numbers, and that's giving more space to the Red Knights.
As we're down to 9:38 in regulation.
Panic, it finds its way to Tatter. Now she's got loads of space. Plays it through. Here's a chance for the Red Knights. Takes a deflection, corner kick right for Benilde-St. Margaret's. And here's this look at that, and it took a deflection off the Duluth Denfeld. Red Knights taking their time establishing the corner. Looks like it will be Tadrin taking it once again. She did score off a corner early in the year against Totino Grace.
In the game we did on ParkTV 16.
Here's Tadrin giving the all clear signal. She sends it in. Here's Panic, it goes through. Lazaro.
Another save.
Well, Red Knights finding a way to get their heads on these balls, and it's just unable to get into the back. Now Lazaro playing some very good goalkeeping right now.
She has had 3 outstanding saves in about the last 3 to 5 minutes, Andrew.
Vanderheide now makes a move. She has space. Finds its way to Mattis. Cuts her way through. Here's a shot.
Wide to the right.
Just centimeters away from opening up a 2-0 lead.
In addition to the Class A boys quarterfinal games tomorrow at St. Louis Park, there's also Class AA. All the quarterfinal games in Class AA were today, where Northern Prairie Seeds Academy are still going on, as well as Edina and Elk River.
Here's another chance for the Red Knights. Mattis with it, taking down the box, nothing called. Nice clean challenge as we entered the final 7:36 of the second half. Red Knights with a 1-0 lead. Here's Vanderheide, top of the box. Schmidt lets loose.
High fly.
It's good. 3 points, as I've said, in football, 0 in soccer.
Think John Hanks is watching this game?
I think he's got a little bit more to worry about, like the Blake Bears.
And we were talking about the game earlier, and a big one for the Red Knights is they're one step away from the section final and a possible meeting with Duluth-St.
Yeah, and that's their goal. They want to beat Duluth-St. I mean, that would be one very good section final game. Capable of a state final. Kelly Panic finds Mattis. Offside is the call.
It also looked like a really good pass.
Well, Panic just does her thing in the middle here. Gets through, and Mattis just doesn't quite time her run correctly. Doesn't matter either way, the shot was wide.
She really did a good job going through those 2 Denfeld defenders.
Yeah, Panic just one of those players that's gonna find space. I mean, just Red Knights have so many holes right now to expose right now, and just have been unlucky to not find the back of the net more than they have. But Denfeld, I mean, came out strong in the first 10, 12 minutes of this first half, and here could be a potential danger. Barger plays it. Coughlin and the Red Knights. Noble, Panic, Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer finds a way through. Oppenheimer will just play it through. Lazaro with an easy pickup.
With all the action that Lazaro has been getting in goal, we haven't seen much of Maya Berg in the nets in the second half, Andrew.
I don't believe Berg has maybe touched the ball at all. As here's Mattis now. She has Panic as an option, unable to get it to her. But yeah, making it easy on the freshman. And here comes a possible chance for Denfeld. Ball's played to the middle. Coughlin chooses to stay. So 5 minutes remain. The ball will roll out for a Red Knight throw-in.
As we're down to 5 minutes to go, the Red Knights 5 minutes away from a trip to the Metrodome for the 2nd consecutive year. Third.
Denfeld making a substitution. 30 seconds ran off the clock right there. Barger goes out. Just throw in. See what happens here now is Denfeld looking to Established possession. Barger clears it out.
But one thing we haven't touched on, Andrews, the Red Knights are in the state tournament for the 4th consecutive year. 2011, they were runner-up, and they won the championship last year. As for this year, they're only 339 away from the Metrodome.
Well, and in 2009, they were upset by Orono in the section final, and that year Orono went on to win the state championship. So here's a chance for the Red Knights. It's cleared in. Barger is there for the clearance. 3:20 remaining.
But when you look at Section 6, you see a big rivalry between the Orono Spartans and the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights. Two outstanding girls soccer programs.
Yeah, and we have a foul here. Catapolis made a move down the side and took up a trip. But yeah, Orono and Benilde-St. Margaret's, it's unfortunate they're both in the same section as you see the foul. And both are very capable of being state tournament teams.
Orono used to be in the same conference with Benilde-St. Margaret's in the days of the old Metro Alliance.
Denfeld looking to possibly even up the score. And the Red Knights clear it. 2:36 remaining. Ball taken in possession by Flissner. Sent through. Oppenheimer makes the step. Tadrin is dropped into more of a defensive, more into a midfielder spot. Denfeld student section trying to create a little noise, urge their team on as we reach the final 2:10.
They made the trip down I-35 to St. Louis Park.
Catapolis sends it in. It's a dangerous ball. Great touch. Vanderhyde unable to find Panic.
1:55 to go. Catapolis.
Catapolis changes pace. Finds Schmidt. Unfortunately, Schmidt is unable to find any Red Knight. Barger elects to play it out. We got 100 seconds left in this Class A quarterfinal.
As most of the press box is cleared out.
Noble finds Catapolis. Catapolis finds Vanderhyde. Vanderhyde making some moves. Has to distribute the ball quicker there. It's played through. Now goes out. Oppenheimer, great step there to prevent a possible counterattack by the Hunters.
As we're heading into the final minute of regulation time.
Alexa Tadrin with the pickup.
The Minnesota State High School thanks St. Louis Park High School for hosting the state soccer quarterfinal game. The winners of tonight's competition will move on to the semifinal game at the Metrodome in Minneapolis.
Takes the deflection off a Denfeld player. We have 40 seconds remaining in this quarterfinal. Vanderhyde with the lone goal for the Red Knights. It could possibly be more if not for the play of senior goalie Megan Lazaro. Red Knights win it. Vanderhyde finds Tadrin. Lazaro making the save. 20 seconds left. Lazaro with the drop kick. Barely reaches the 35. Tadrin plays it in. We have 12 seconds remaining. Denfeld sends it through.
5 seconds
5
to go.
seconds left.
For the third straight year, Benilde-St. Margaret's will be heading for the Metrodome.
Just a gutty win by the Red Knights, you'd have to say. Only getting the one goal, but it's what they needed. As Vanderhyde found in that early in the first half, and lots of relief from this Red Knight team picking up a one-goal win.
Well, Andrew, there's not much to recap in the scoring department except for the only goal that was scored at 14:48 of the first half with Emma Vanderhyde scoring from the left side as she went between a couple of Duluth Denfeld defenders to put it in the net, and that was the only goal of the game. The only scoring for the Red Knights, as Megan Lazaro was playing outstanding defense in the nets in the second half. but the Red Knights held on to beat the Hunters 1-0.
Well, we had some people from the Coaches Association who make the All-State teams, and they were all in agreement that Lazaro was deserving of the Denfeld All-State or All-Tournament team spot. And with her performance today, she kept her team in the game, and it's just unfortunate they were unable to find the back, that they were unable to even up the score.
So congratulations to head coach Scott Helling Christie and the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights in advancing into the Class A girls semifinals against the Mankato West Scarlets. They will play at approximately 10 o'clock Monday morning, October 28th at the Metrodome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very good game. I watched a little bit of Mankato West before this Benilde-St. Margaret's game. And it was, lacrosse, though they were C team, Mankato West found a way to just attack their defense. I think the Red Knights are going to be, it's going to be a challenging game for them. You don't know what to expect. Mankato West has momentum with them. So you can't come in the game thinking you're just going to blow by the Scarlets.
In the opening game, the Blake Bears, the top seed, go up against either Totino Grace or Hill Murray. And Andrew, our resident Twitter master, do you have a score on that Hill Murray game?
Yes, I do. Totino Grace wins 1-0 over Hill Murray and will advance to the Metrodome to face Blake in the semifinal.
So it will be the Bears and the Eagles in the 8 o'clock game on Monday, the 28th. As we take a look at the bracket on the screen, not yet complete, but it'll be Blake and Totino Grace at 8 o'clock, followed by Benilde-St. Margaret's and Mankato West at 10 a.m. Well, Andrew, this is our final soccer cablecast together after 3 years of working a number of Benilde-St. Margaret's games that have taken us to places like Park of Cottage Grove, the Metrodome, Roseville, as well as right here at St. Louis Park High School. A lot of great things have happened in Benilde-St. Margaret's soccer, as well as a couple of state championships.
Yeah, and I think the Red Knights would be very pleased to add on to their last year's state championship, become two-time state champions. And it's good. I think if it's right now, I look at it's Benilde and Blake, and that's gonna be one half of a state championship game, 3 straight years, and it's gonna be whoever wins that game is going to rightfully have earned the state championship.
So it could be another rematch of the August 27th game that was played to a 1-1 tie between the Bears and the Red Knights.
Yeah, they're just two very evenly matched teams, and in 2011 it was a 1-0 game after they tied 0-0 in the regular season. Last year they tied in the regular season. Then Benilde wins in overtime, and this year they tied in the regular season, common theme. So it's just going to be a very evenly matched game.
Well, Andrew, I wish you the best of luck in handling the semifinal game at the Metrodome. And hopefully the Red Knights will advance to the championship on Thursday, Halloween morning at 10 a.m., also at the Metrodome.
Yeah.
That would be a real treat for the school.
Yeah, I think, Benilde, they've already discussed the scheduling options with us. If the girls were to win, they have won, so now we get school off. Big reason. So you can see, you'll be able to see the game on Monday, and there'll be plenty of Red Knight fans there, and plenty of Scarlet fans, I expect, as well.
Each of them getting up early to get to the Metrodome. Well, Andrew, before we wrap this up, this is my final ParkTV 16 cablecast after a period of almost 17 years, because starting in the winter I will be doing some play-by-play for the fine folks over at PSB Media, which will be covering a wider spectrum, including the 2 Bloomington schools, Jefferson and Kennedy, as well as Edina and Eden Prairie. But there are a lot of people I'd like to thank. All the coaches who I've worked with over the years, not just at St. Louis Park during the spring, such as in baseball, as well as softball and girls lacrosse, but also Benilde-St. Margaret's in various sports, including boys and girls soccer, even football, as well as boys and girls hockey and baseball, and softball, as well as girls lacrosse. Special thanks to all the people behind the scenes over the years who have helped out with Park TV 16 games, including Misty Lewis, our producer director Paul Broden, who's done a fine job giving us all the sights and sounds, as well as people who have been with us over the years who are no longer with Park TV, including Todd Ratcliffe in the days when we were Time Warner, as well as Comcast, before being taken over by the city of St. Louis Park. And special thanks to Jamie Zwilling at the city of St. Louis Park for allowing us to bring the sights and sounds of Oriole and Red Knight athletics into our homes over the many years doing the games. We'd also like to thank Leslie Farrell for booking us on various events. Leslie, another person no longer with us, as well as all the people who have helped out over the years in the booth. Hank Shinos, the former boys coach who sat in for a while over at the Metrodome during a boys game. Steve Rosine, who did some of our girls lacrosse 101 games where we explained the sport to people who have never seen girls lacrosse to give them an idea of what they can expect. We'd also like to thank somebody who's helped out in the days that we did the state-adapted tournaments back in the Comcast era, when we did the state-adapted soccer, floor hockey, and softball tournaments. Mike York. Mike was also part of the PSB team. Look forward to joining Mike, as well as some of the people over at PSB, including the guy who founded the company, Brett Johnson. But most of all, we'd like to thank all the viewers who have watched all the action over the years of Oriole and Red Knight athletics. And special thanks to a guy who served as a color commentator during one of the girls basketball section games we did over at Lindbergh Center against Hopkins and St. Louis Park. Unfortunately, he passed away. Earlier in the year, he was very knowledgeable about men's and women's basketball in Minnesota, but he passed away due to health problems at age 50. Tony Gear. If you're listening to this on a cloud, Tony, we miss you. But I will not be disappearing from Oriole Athletics because I'll be still doing the public address announcing for various athletic events. And in closing, thanks to everybody for being a part of Park TV 16 Sports over the many years. And as I usually close, for our producer-director, Paul Broden, all the people who have helped out on Park TV 16 Sports, including a guy seated on my right who's been a part of Red Knight Soccer over 3 years, Andrew Birkeland. Great having you along, Andrew. This is Howard Luloff saying goodbye and reminding you once again the final score in the Class A girls soccer state quarterfinal game. The Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights won. The Duluth Denfeld Hunters, nothing. The Red Knights are going back to the Dome. See you around, and so long, everybody.